let's talk about some topics. Troy, you said something to somebody yesterday about CrowdStrike
Yeah,
that you like CrowdStrike.
yeah. I'm
What?
always going to say that, right? And I said this a few months ago when we were at the peak of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In times of conflict, security becomes the priority, especially for countries that are in the conflict. But it becomes a world issue, right? Because that's when you see cyber theft. That's when you see cyber attacks. And so I've always been a firm believer in it. But CrowdStrike is, if we talk about the top two companies in the space,
Yeah.
CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, Zscaler. These are the companies that we're talking about. And so cybersecurity is something that we're always going to need, right? As businesses become more digital, as the world becomes more digital, we need more protection. And so a young lady was asking me, what's a company that, we haven't been paying attention to over the past 6 months? And I'm like, CrowdStrike. Like, if you haven't been paying, like, if you look at the history of it, if you look at how it's been performing, it's kind of like been quiet as kept, but it's done pretty well over the past 5 to 6 weeks. And so that's one of those sleepers that no one talks about. I know Trap was big on that a few years ago. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, make sure you pay attention to that because it's something that you can definitely keep in your portfolio long term, or if you're trading options, if you like to do that, you can definitely put some leaps on it as well.
I mean, they won an innovation award last week, and this morning they got the best security company award from SC Awards for the fourth time. Great company. I mean, and it's sometimes it's these boring businesses that just chug along. I remember in 2020, Shadi, I think you said only people that are not rich think 10 or 15% growth is no real gain. So it's companies like these that are print 10, 20, 30% on accident that you never have to worry about. And like Troy said, as these crises become bigger internationally, you're going to need more cybersecurity to protect your business and your personal information.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And it's one of these things where security has always been probably the biggest thing in the world, going back to ancient times as far as like armies and different things of that nature. So it's like the wars that were fought previously were military wars. The wars that are going to be fought in the new world are going to be cyber wars and biotech wars. So these are things that's extremely important because it's like cybersecurity is very, very vital. And then when you start to talk about that bio war, that's a whole different conversation. Ian probably getting his dragons about that. That's a whole different conversation.
Yes. I'm gonna stay away from that. I want to get some sponsors there. Shout out to Ally. Even when you write, they're like it's controversy. Hey, I'm good. I'm learning. Content creators, please learn. You can scare partnerships in the bag away. I'm not caping. I'm just sharing some lessons with you.
Very important. All right. So the one thing other talking point, the earnings, and which companies are viable. So and why is company earnings important actually? Let me just ask that question because I know Troy does the earnings report every week, and people that are new to investing or even people that have been around investing, they might not fully even know what's the importance of even, caring about a company's earnings.
You can look at it as a Troy, go ahead, my bad.
I was gonna say we can make it real easy. You want to see is the company making money or is it not making money?
So that's the easiest explanation.
Some companies don't make money, but can still be quote unquote good companies. Is that true or not? Because a lot of companies didn't make money for a long time, and they're some of the most strongest companies in the history of the world.
And the reason why, and that's why I tell people, I think it's a mistake to play the quarterly earnings game, and for everyone else, you can like look at it as a report card for how they did for that quarter. But a lot of times you may have a hedge fund pushing, you may get a last minute push for volume. There's a lot of other factors that at play because hedge funds and capital allocators have to put the money to use every quarter. When you start to look over a year or two, you really can see if a company's doing well or not. Sometimes like okay, shout out to my mom and dad. Like remember sometime I didn't bring the report card home right on time, and then like my guy Marcus here, he had changed my grade, and I'd be like, "Here, Dad." He like, "You ain't getting no damn beard, man." Right? Sometimes they can game the earnings to be in their favor, or sometimes we even see companies have great earnings and then fall. That's why I say I think one of the biggest mistakes in American commerce is to judge things on a quarter by quarter cycle. I think you should go by year. But Troy has the best explanation for what the earnings report is.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's your report card. It's really your report card to see how you're performing. But you really have to understand the business in itself, right? So like this week is a big retail week. So you got companies like Nordstrom and you got Macy's and Dick's Sports are reporting, right? Now, based on their numbers for the past 2 quarters, it could show you that there's an increase in revenue, right? But when you take inflation into account, and you know the prices are more, then yeah, you're gonna make more money because the prices are more. You factor in for the next couple of quarters where now it's like back to school. This is the height of the season, or it's sports season. The prices being increased will increase revenue. Does that mean that they're selling out of their items? That's not necessarily true, right? Like it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, we got to take all factors into account when we're looking at the earnings. And I'm with Ian, like we've seen plenty of times, right? When Apple had $100 billion quarter, and the next day it fell.
It'll
5%.
fall.
Like, it doesn't even make sense. So you got to be careful when you're actually making plays. And I know in the futures market, especially in the options market, if you're basing it on just the earnings. So there's a lot of factors into it. And I'm only speaking from experience.
Yes, that's a dangerous time to play.
We've done it before, and I'm telling you to just be careful with that.
When it goes right, it's amazing. You are on cloud 9. You feel like Thor 1, not the most recent movie. When it works against you, man, it is a pain. I was looking at Macy's numbers. Macy's is almost at its low from 1999. And it goes back to, okay, before the pandemic hit, what incentive did you have to go to Macy's, Nordstrom's, Bed Bath & Beyond, we can touch on that, AMC, Regal Cinemas? If people are not leaving the house and now they don't have money as a result, a lot of retail companies are going to be in a lot of trouble. The luxury companies will be fine. Shout out to everybody I saw in Atlanta at the Best Festival, Balenciaga going, Gucci head to toe, right? Not mad at it if you are a profit maker. Shout out to Earn. Earn had on drip, but Earn provide good results, right? Okay, I understand it, but the luxury companies will be fine. But for those that are competing based on price, please get them out of your portfolio. And if you walk in the Macy's, it looked like a tornado hit it.
Yeah, they closed.
No organization, no sale. And once again, I would always ask you guys, when you go into a store, just ask the manager, hey, how's business going? If they get you know things are bad.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.